country. You don't like our flag. What makes you think that we give a damn about that? There's a million pissed off rednecks just like me. And we're all sick and tired of this bullshit on TV.
Happy Hour is a Tell It As It Is series. You may hear some profanity, things you might find offensive, but that's how I am. I have no filter and no problem telling my point of view. I don't discriminate. I'm simply an asshole to everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Pappy Hour. That's right. I am back once again and having a blast doing this because I'm getting all kinds of great responses from people, and we seem to be making some, headway here, and people are really tuning in and enjoying the show, which makes me happy. I've noticed that we're being downloaded all over the U.S., which has been really, really cool. But what really excites me right now is the fact that I've got some people from out of the country that have started listening to the show. So we've been downloaded in Ireland. So thank you to our listeners in Ireland. That's awesome. I mean, I'm Irish, Scottish, German, all kinds of other Scandinavian, I think, all kinds of things. I'm going to be doing one of those DNA 1, 2, 3 tests, I think, because, my DNA is already in the system, so I'm not worried about the government stealing it, but I'm pretty sure that's what that's about. But we've also been downloaded in Australia and the Philippines, so thank you for downloading us. Those of you that have been listening to the show, thank you again for listening again, and please help continue sharing the episodes so that people get to know more about what our show's about. And we're going to be doing some interesting things. I've actually got some really cool interviews I'm lining up on some really, really cool topics, which I don't want to ruin, any spoilers here. But they're things that I think are going to make people shake their heads. And I've got some fun interviews set up with a few celebrities, fun interviews I'm working on with some musicians, and I'm trying to get a couple politicians in on some stuff. So we are really doing good. Check out the Ryan is Pappy on YouTube. We've got a new prank scare up there that I'm kind of excited about that I posted last night. It's not a big scare, but it's one that I've been trying to do for a while, and I finally, went ahead and went for it. But subscribe to that page so that way you can see these new videos as we're going. Now, we're going to be, I'm in the process of putting together some really, really cool commentary kind of videos where I talk about things like, fails on YouTube and people that are idiots and stuff like that I want to show and call out. Things like that, where there's more visual to it. And I think you'll enjoy that. Today, I've got some really good topics, I think, that I want to cover. So some of the things we're going to talk about today is you can actually get a DUI on an electric scooter. Yes, it's actually happened. Matter of fact, somebody in Arizona has recently got a ticket for a DUI. We're going to talk about that. We've had some dolphins die. We've had 4 of them die, actually, since 2016 at a local aquarium here called Dolphinarius, which is kind of like one of those things where you can have intimate one-on-one. Well, not intimate. I should probably change that. One-on-one time with dolphins where you could touch them, teach them tricks and stuff like that. Have those the people experience, personal experience with them. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they've had 4 dolphins die since 2016. So we're going to talk about that. We just had the State of the Union just recently, and I've got a few things I want to talk about on that. Then we had a dude, Mac East, I think it was, or no, Colorado, I apologize, that was attacked by a mountain lion, and you wouldn't believe what he did. And then, I was doing a little bit of research, and I came across dumb laws, and I thought, wow, this would be a fun topic to talk about. So we're going to talk about some of the dumb laws out there, and some of them that we don't get to talk about today we'll be talking about in the next show, because again, there's 50 states, Yeah, something like that. And so that means there's a lot of dumb laws. So we're going to talk about that. Recently, there's been some really good things going on with Pappy, but we want to start with the fruit basket because, you know what, I'm actually getting a really good response for this, which is really cool. I'm going to give a shout out to Kyrsten in Maricopa, Arizona. He sent me his picture of what's in his fruit basket. Believe it or not, he outdid me with the Oreos. He actually has the most stuffed Oreos. So these are even bigger than the ones that I had. So guess what? Pappy had to go down and get some of his own. Even though, you know, the diabetes in me says I shouldn't, I did. Just need to take some extra metformin, I guess. But in my fruit basket this time, you know, it's been a busy week. I've been doing all kinds of things with work. I went out of town, you know, I've had my kids. So it's been a ramen noodle kind of week in the fruit basket. I know, very unhealthy, but business is good and I want to keep it that way. So I've been really, really busy. Some new things that are going on with Pappy. My son, It's Busted Jeeber, has his podcast called Technical Difficulties. My son and his friend Drake are in that, and I actually listened to a few episodes, and these guys are kind of funny. They interviewed this gamer girl that was on Twitch called Dat Potato Girl, D-A-T Potato Girl, and she was real funny. And I really like the chemistry that these two guys, you know, that my son and Drake have, and their commentary is really, really good. So you might want to check it out, called Technical Difficulties. Very interesting guys. I went to my first Gem Show in so many years, which was really, really cool. You know, I love rocks and minerals, always have. So that's going to be part of my story of the week. And then job-wise, we've been doing great. We actually created 2 new jobs this week. And one of the things I've enjoyed always as a business owner is creating new jobs and you know, giving jobs to people because, you know, for me, I've been in that situation where I've had a hard time finding a job and I've had people take chances on me. And thank God, you know, people did, you know, for instance, I want to shout out to Rich, which was my first manager when I first started contract security, when I was an actual guard. And, you know, he saw something in me, believed in me. And Joe, which was his assistant, or not his assistant, but the main guy too. He saw something in me and, you know, they gave me my chance. And now I'm an owner of a business. So, you know, big thank you to John Rich for all that and believing in me. But see, I turn around and I use that these days in my own business, and I really do take a lot of chances on people because I see something in them that I think that could potentially make them amazing employees. And so far, I've got some employees that have been me almost 10 years. So that's been really, really cool. Let's see, what else we got here? We talked about Pappy Hour being downloaded. That has been really good for the show. I am so thankful for people sharing our episodes on Facebook. And again, if you haven't checked it out, it's Pappy Hour is the name of the Facebook page. You can find it, and it will show all of the uploads. I did find out that YouTube is now accepting my podcast as well, so you can listen to my podcast on YouTube. Which is really cool, and maybe share it with your friends. That'd be awesome too. So first topic of the day that we're going to talk about is actually getting a DUI on an electric scooter. It is possible. I mean, you can get a DUI driving a truck, a car, off-road vehicle, tractor, farm equipment. You can even get it on a bicycle. You're operating anything that moves. Now, I wonder if you can get a DUI in an electric wheelchair. That I don't know. I think I should look that up. But yeah, it's possible to get a DUI on electric scooter. Now, in the Arizona, the Phoenix metro area, we have these new little scooter things called bird scooters, which are really, really cool. But you see them all over the place. They're all over the corners, people dumping them everywhere. But the way this program works is you download this app, you go to the scooter and you pay so many cents per minute or, you know, $1 a minute or whatever the case it is. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't done it. And then you scan the the barcode that's on the scooter and it registers it, and you get to ride on the scooter. Well, these things are pretty fast, and they have lights on them for nighttime, and there's really no way of checking if somebody is stable enough to even ride on them, which I bet a lot of people already have a hard enough time staying straight up on their own, but their 2 feet, let alone a two-wheel scooter. But we had a 28-year-old male that was riding around in Phoenix Tempe, which is a suburb of Phoenix, and he smacked into a parked car with a scooter. Okay, he had a .285 blood alcohol level. That's more than twice the legal limit in Arizona, and it was 8:30 in the morning when this happened. So 0.285 blood alcohol level at 8:30 in the morning. Now, I'm not judging the guy for day drinking, because for all I know, he probably just got off of work and this is his nighttime. I get that because I've worked nights. I understand that. But a 0.285, he smacks into the scooter, or in the parked car with the scooter. He also, in his bag, this is what makes me think this guy's a professional, okay? In his backpack, he had a 16-ounce can of Four Peaks Golden Lager, 7 50-milliliter bottles of 99 bananas. Now, I don't know what 99 bananas is, but I'm pretty sure that's a pretty disgusting alcohol. But to already have a 0.285, and Arizona has one of the strictest DUI laws in the country, but having twice the legal limit already, and then having this much alcohol in his bag, that just makes me think this guy's a pro. But it is possible. I was really surprised to see this. And then I did a little bit more research, and I'm seeing that it's actually happened in a few other states as well, including California. And, I'm just not sure how safe these things really are. I mean, kids can get on them really easily. And I've seen them zooming, in streets, around cars, and there's no helmets needed. And again, they can go pretty fast. I don't know what the exact speed is, because I wasn't able to find anything on that. But if you're ever on those electric scooters, be careful, people, and watch for these new things if you're driving around, especially when you're coming in and out of parking lots and making turns and all that, because just like some bike riders out there, and I'm not saying all bike riders do this, but a lot of bike riders don't pay attention themselves. And so therefore you've got 2 people causing an accident. So really keep your eyes out and watch this, but it's really interesting. So if you're drunk, don't scooter ride, man. Nope, don't do it. Uber. Now, Uber is actually coming out with electric bikes too, so don't do that. So DUI on a scooter. I was shocked to hear about that. That was crazy. We've also had in the Phoenix area, and this is actually main national news, and I get why. And it's 4 dolphins have died in our local aquarium called Dolphinarius. So they've actually announced already that they're going to be closing the facility for the time being, with no time to reopen, because they want to investigate as to why this is happening. But since 2016, we've had 4. Okay, just a week ago, we had a 22-year-old dolphin die. In December, we had an 11-year-old dolphin die from a parasite. I'm not even going to try to say it. Sarcocistis, something like that. She had it for 6 years, but she died. May 2018, we had a 10-year-old dolphin die from a bacterial infection. September 2017, we had a 7-year-old die from a muscle disease. And, it's kind of interesting. It is different things each time. But, why is this happening? I mean, you don't hear about this many dolphins dying at SeaWorld. Is it Arizona just being, a dolphin exhibit in the desert? It could be it. They've had a panel of professionals come in to do investigations, veterinarians, pathologists, water quality experts, animal behavior experts, and all that. And there has been no major concerns found. The states come in, and the federal regulators have said that they've done 4 inspections since it opened, and they haven't found anything that would make them worry about the well-being of the dolphins. Now, these dolphins are actually loaned to Dolphinarius by a company called Dolphin Quest. And they've actually canceled their contract all of a sudden with dolphin areas, which I can't blame them. 4 of their dolphins have died, and there are 4 remaining dolphins. 2 of them are being relocated back to Dolphin area or Dolphin Quest, and then 2 are being moved to another licensed facility. But they're trying to figure out exactly why this is happening. Experts have stated that maybe moving the dolphins to the center, interacting with people, stress and the working conditions, and it messes with their immune systems. I could see that. They're allowing people to get in the water with these dolphins. That was to say these people don't have this parasite on them or are creating these problems for the dolphins. Is it Arizona water? We have nasty water here. I mean, I'm sure it goes through many, many filtration systems, but I'm sure there's stuff that can't be pulled out of the water. Maybe spores in the dust that we have in the air here. We got valley fever, runs through Arizona like crazy. We have haboobs out here. Now, if you don't know what a haboob is, it's a huge dust storm. If you ever watched that movie, The Mummy, in The Mummy, that huge dust storm comes in and swallows up that plane. That's kind of what we have, minus swallowing up the plane. But and we don't have The Mummy. But we have this huge wall of dust, and they come through town. And since Dolphinarius is an open-aired exhibit, it allows all that dust to get into the air. Plus, they're out in a dusty section of that area, the old farmland and all that. So, and then you're right off by the highway, so you've got exhaust fumes, you've got all kinds of things. How are we to know? Maybe the traffic blowing through there vibrates that water, hurts their ears. There's so many things that it makes me wonder exactly what is going on. Now, I love aquariums. I love fish. There's actually a really cool aquarium next door to Dolphinarius that I'm a member of because I love going there, watching the fish interact, and they have some other animals there, and it's really cool to watch. And they've got stingrays and stuff like that. But the dolphin bit, I've never been to that one, but it seems like it would be a tough exhibit to have in Arizona. Maybe just being in captivity, but there are experts that say that living in captivity has its benefits for dolphins by providing them with good health care and a steady supply of food. So, there's a lot of pros and cons to this, and there's been a lot of protesters going out there protesting, the dolphins. But these regulators say that they haven't found anything that could potentially show that the dolphins were in danger in any way. So it's a sad story, but I do hope that Dolphinarius is able to figure out what's causing this problem, and I pray that it's not somebody coming to visit these sites that's introducing a toxin or something to these dolphins. That would be horrible. But this day and age, you just don't know what people are thinking. We just recently had on the Tuesday the 5th. The State of the Union. And although I've never really watched the State of the Union, I wanted to watch this one this time. I'm not a huge Donald Trump fan. I am a Republican. I believe in the First Amendment. I strongly believe in the Second Amendment, and I preach the Second Amendment all the time. But Donald Trump has done some great things, and he's done some crappy things as well. And I do want to say, though, that I felt bad for him during this thing because I was watching, and we had Nancy Pelosi, which everybody knows who Nancy Pelosi is, and she sits behind him next to the vice president. And the camera's on her almost the whole event. And you see her rolling her eyes, smirking, making faces. I mean, I just wanted somebody to reach up there and slap her, because it was horrible the way she was acting. Very disrespectful. If you're sitting behind the president, regardless if you like him or not. I mean, I was not an Obama fan, but if I was to sit behind Obama in any speech and that camera's on me, I'm going to give that man a level of respect just because that's who I am. But to be that high-ranking individual like Nancy Pelosi is, and to actually be back there rolling her eyes, I swear to God, I wanted hot pokers just go psst, and stick them in the eye. Do something about it. I mean, you know, she was talking to somebody that was off camera view that you couldn't see very well. And, you know, it just wanted to tell her, you know, this is not your time to talk. You get your time to talk later. Give the president his time. But very disrespectful. I mean, I don't know what she was thinking, but I think honestly, I think she needs to be booted. And then not just because of the fact that she's a Democrat, and I'm not a Democrat fan, but just because she is absolutely horrifically disrespectful. And I'm pretty sure one of my Hatfield cousins, Mark Hatfield, could agree with me on this. And I'm going to actually try to see if I can get him to respond some way so that we can get his input. So Mark, if you're listening out there, I need your help on this one, man. We need to figure out what needs to be done about Nancy Pelosi. I mean, I hate to be her husband if I was him right now. I wouldn't even go outside. There were some things that I liked during the speech that I think I should touch base on, which was really cool. He kept saying, you know, when he first started, the agenda that he was going to lay out that evening is not a Republican agenda or a Democrat agenda, but it's an agenda of the American people. Finally, the words are said, the American people. It's not about Democrats. It's not about Republicans. It's about the American people. It's not about lining your pockets, which you know what happens there at Capitol Hill, and they need to drain that swamp fast. Maybe Pappy needs to run in the Senate and start, you know, shaking some heads and booting some butts out there and, you know, cleaning up and letting everybody know what really goes down. I have no problem with that at all, because I don't care if the Republicans hate me and the Democrats hate me, because I am American. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm American, even though I have to register as a Republican, because you got to register in Arizona to vote. And apparently they don't recognize independence. But another thing I liked about, he touched on the 75th anniversary of what we call the Great Crusade in World War II, D-Day. You know, he introduced some of the heroes that were part of D-Day that I thought was really cool. I mean, the fact that we still have some of these, what I call living legends. I mean, everybody that was in that war, I don't care if you were a cook, I don't care if you were a shoe polisher, I don't care if you were the infantryman. All of those people are heroes as far as I'm concerned. In every branch in the military, every day, all day. It doesn't matter if it's World War II, Vietnam, Korean War, Afghan, anything. They're all heroes. Every single one of them, stationed abroad or at home. Anybody that's in reserves, thank you so much for your service. You've got me at your back supporting you. But it was really cool to hear him say the things that he was saying and to acknowledge these individuals. It was also mentioned that it's been 50 years since we landed on the moon. He had Buzz Aldrin there. Now, did we land on the moon? I don't know. I mean, that might be a fun show to talk about, you know, the different conspiracy theories about landing on the moon. But it was cool that he mentioned that. And then one of the things he said that I thought was really neat, that there is a new opportunity in American politics if only we have the courage to seize it. Victory is not winning for our party. Victory is winning for our country. That was pretty cool. That one, actually, I really like that saying a lot. And again, I agree with that. It doesn't matter at the end of the day if you're a Democrat or a Republican. It matters at the end of the day what you did for the country, and did the country become better because of it. So that's really cool to think about. He also said now is a time for bipartisan, I can't even say that word, action. Believe it or not, we've already proven it's possible. And that's true. He has proven, they have proven they can work together. Now, it's just a matter of getting this budget passed that we've got coming up, which I believe happens in 2 days. And if it's not passed, then we're back to another government shutdown again. He reminded the Congress, you guys got work to do. Let's get this done. He also talked about defeating childhood cancer and putting money into defeating that. I thought that was a great topic there. He covered terrorism, border security, and, with this speech this time, he didn't really point fingers, which was really good. He didn't kind of go off like the Donald Trump that we know, where he's picking a fight with somebody. This was actually a very professional speech that he did. I mean, he's very well known for not reading the speeches that he's been given. And, so it's really cool to see him in that professional atmosphere. Do I think that they're going to get this budget passed that he was talking about? No, I really don't, because I don't think it matters enough to the Senate to get it done. Because the Senate, again, does not have to worry about where my food's going to come from. Am I going to be able to pay my car payments? They've got their free health insurance. They don't have to worry at all. None of them do. But if I think, again, and I still would push it until the day I die, that they can't pass the budget, then they should not get paid, period. Ever. Because you failed your job. If I fail my job, I get fired. You fail your job, you should get fired. That's just the way it is. But there's actually a Democrat that I want to applaud. And that would be one of Arizona's Democrats, Kyrsten Sinema. Trump was talking and she heard something she really liked. And she was the only Democrat that stood up. She's clapping her hands. She was proud of what he said. And you could see it in her eyes. And Democrat, was it Jackie Rosen, the senator from Nevada, she stands up, and if you could read lips, you actually see her say, "You better watch your ass." Now, I don't know exactly what that was about, like she's threatening to boot her out of the Democrat, Senate, but, I applaud Kyrsten Sinema because she stood up as an American. I believe it was not Democrat, not Republican, that part. She liked what was said. And, I applaud her for that. And, she stood even after being told you better watch your ass. I think, that was great. So Kyrsten Sinema, great job. Thank you so much. We recently had a man that was running by himself in the Horsetooth Mountain open space that's near Fort Collins in Colorado. He heard something behind him, and when he turned around, there was an 80-pound mountain lion that attacked him. He was bitten in the face, the wrist. He was scratched up real bad, but he was able to break free, and he killed this thing. Now, how did he do that? I'm telling you, this guy must be a beast he watches a lot of MMA, because he was able to get this mountain lion in a chokehold, and he suffocated the lion. I mean, I'm telling you, I would love to be a badass like that, and he just moved himself higher in the food chain than I'll ever be. But I'm glad he's okay. They said he is recovering. He had, from what I read, after being attacked, he had to go 3 miles to get to his car. And then drove himself to the hospital. So I probably would have been mountain lion food at that particular moment. So great job, dude. I'm really impressed with you on that. That just, it blew me away, floored me. Now, just recently, I was doing some research on trying to find some really interesting things to talk about in the show. And I thought I'd touch base on some stupid laws, idiot laws. And, some of these things I was looking at, and these are legit laws. I mean, I looked them up just to make sure that these really are what they claim to be. And, it made me wonder, the people that actually wrote these laws, submitted them through Senate, how high were they? Were they drunk? I mean, and then what was the government officials even thinking about when they passed these laws? I mean, ridiculous. So since I'm in Arizona, I'm going to talk mostly on the Arizona ones, and then I'll touch base on a few of them from other states that I think are pretty ridiculous in the sense. But so in Arizona, in the city of Tucson, it is illegal for women to wear pants. Yeah, I don't get it. They say that women are only allowed to wear skirts and dresses. Now, I've seen plenty of women wearing pants, suit pants and all that. I doubt they're ever going to get a ticket, but I guess it could be enforceable if they really, really, really wanted to. In Arizona, the state, It is illegal to have less than one missing tooth showing when you smile after your 18th birthday. Yes, it is illegal to have less than one tooth missing when or showing when you smile after your 18th birthday. Absolutely ridiculous. In Arizona, it is illegal to buy spray paint until you're 18 years of age, which I actually kind of agree with that one. And that being because there are a lot of people that go around tagging and graffitiing and, criminal damage and all that. So there is that one. In Prescott, Arizona, which is actually a nice little town, old town, great tourist destination if you think about it. It's illegal to ride a horse up the stairs of the county courthouse. So that was interesting. In Nogales, Arizona, which is right off the border where Mexico, Arizona come together, it is illegal to wear suspenders. So apparently, I'm guessing that somebody has some major stock in a belt company down there, and they jumped on that so that nobody can use suspenders. Here's a really interesting one. In Mojave County, which is one of our counties here in Arizona, anyone caught stealing soap must use it until it's all used up. I don't understand that. So I guess if you're stealing soap, you have to use it nonstop until it's done. So that's a long shower, I would bet. In Mesa, you cannot smoke a cigarette within 15 feet of a public place without a Class 12 liquor license. Yep. In the town or Maricopa County, it's illegal for more than 6 girls to live in a house. That's probably a good thing, knowing I'm a guy and girls drive me nuts. Yeah. And that's a lot of girls going, what's for dinner? I don't know. Nothing will ever get eaten in that house. Let's see here. How about Arizona has a law that it's illegal to refuse a person a glass of water. That's kind of interesting. The water is free, but apparently you can charge for the cup. So technically, I guess you could say you could drink from the hose. And I get that because we do have extreme heat out here. So that is pretty bad. Let's see here. In Arizona, there's a law that states, and I use this in my CCW classes, which I think is ridiculous, but you can only defend yourself with the same weapon that the robber is using to rob you with. So in other words, if somebody's attacking you with a spatula, according to Arizona law, you're only allowed to use a spatula to defend yourself with. So I thought that was kind of corny, but I don't think there's any jury out there that's going to convict you for defending yourself and your family if your fear of immediate life threatening, or that your life is in danger. So I thought that was really interesting. A couple other states now. Let's see here. In Arkansas, it's actually prohibited to pronounce Arkansas incorrectly. So if you say it wrong, you can be cited for that. I thought that was interesting. In California, animals are banned from mating publicly within 1,500 feet of a tavern, school, or place of worship. So no fornicating animals. So if your dog is found humping another dog, I guess that dog's going to doggy jail. Let's see here. In Connecticut, it is illegal for a barber to hum a tune while cutting your hair. I don't know what that's about. In Florida, and I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to try this, but in Florida, having sexual relations with a porcupine is illegal. Talk about getting pricked. In Georgia, no one may carry an ice cream cone in their back pocket if it is Sunday. That was really interesting. In Hawaii, you cannot place coins in one's ears. So no putting coins in your ears and pulling them out for magic, apparently. In Idaho, you may not sweep dirt from your house into the street. In Indiana, it's illegal to catch fish with your bare hands. Let's see here. In Iowa, ministers must obtain a permit to carry their liquor across state lines. So I'm not sure exactly what liquor the ministers are carrying, but that might be that communion juice or something. I don't know. In Kansas, if you have a vending machine that steals your money, it is illegal to hit it. In Kentucky, one may not dye a duckling blue and offer it for sale unless more than 6 are for sale at the same time. Okay. In Louisiana, it is a $500 fine to instruct a pizza delivery man to deliver a pizza to your friend without them knowing. So if you do remember back in the day, we used to be able to order pizzas and have them pranked and sent to people's houses and them not knowing what's going on. That's a $500 fine now. So that kind of makes sense because that's a loss of money for businesses. And, we were dumb kids at the time. So, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, in Maine, this is a good one. Advertisements may not be placed in cemeteries. God only knows those dead people might need something that you're advertising, but... In Maryland, and this law wouldn't go good here because we have a problem with it. Persons may not swear while on the highway. Now, if you I don't know how bad the traffic is in Maryland, but in Arizona, every other word out of my mouth on the highway is a swear word. So that's pretty bad. Let's see what else we got. Minnesota, airplanes may not be landed in city parks. Now, I didn't know that any other place where airplanes land in a city park. So that's kind of interesting. In Mississippi, and no, it doesn't involve marrying your sister, but if one is a parent to 2 illegitimate children, that person will go to jail for at least 1 month. So if you're going to have kids, you better be in a relationship and or married in Mississippi. Yeah. Let's see here. In Nebraska, if you have an STD, you're not allowed to marry. In Nevada, apparently sex toys are outlawed. But then, up at the Bunny Ranch up there, I don't know what they use, but that's kind of interesting. Let's see here. Another stupid one. Let's see here. In North Dakota, one may be jailed for wearing a hat while dancing or even for wearing a hat to a function where dancing is taking place. In Ohio, if one loses their exotic animal, they must notify the authorities within 1 hour. I also know that in Ohio, it's illegal to get a fish drunk. I do know that. I don't know why they made this a law, but apparently somebody did it. But in Oklahoma, it's illegal for the owner of a bar to allow anyone inside to pretend to have sex with an animal. Let's see here. Pennsylvania, persons convicted of felonies may not operate bingo games. Oh, that would be bad. In Rhode Island, you cannot bite off the limbs of another person. I mean, these are some seriously stupid laws, people. I just don't get where these are coming from. In Tennessee, it's illegal for students to hold hands at school. Yep. In Vermont, women must obtain written permission from their husbands to wear false teeth. And let's see here. In West Virginia, a person may not hold public office if he or she has ever participated in a duel. So that's pretty interesting. So we've had some interesting, stupid laws. I mean, there's a lot of other ones out there, but they just don't seem to be that ridiculous. But it's kind of crazy, how many of them there are, even though they're kind of out of the way and people really don't pay attention to them. I thought they were kind of interesting. I thought you might get a laugh out of some of those. So now I get to rant. This is my favorite part of each day, is ranting some way, one way or another. So today I want to rant about people judging people. Now, I know that that's pretty much how society is today. And I get that because there's a lot of stereotyping. I get that as well. But I'm really big on wearing shirts that kind of can offend people, because I kind of enjoy getting a rise out of people. For instance, I got a shirt that says, "I oil my guns with the tears of liberals." I got a lot of Second Amendment shirts, First Amendment shirts, a lot of gun shirts, and I kind of enjoy seeing what people say. But what was interesting was I was standing in one of my grocery stores, and I had a shirt on, and in my shirt it says, free people do not need permission to carry arms, which is true. Okay, because that's the whole purpose of the Second Amendment. And so there's this lady that's standing behind me. She gets my attention, and I'm unloading my cart, and she goes, "I can't believe you're carrying a gun in this store." And I turned to her and I said, "Well, why?" And she goes, "Well, my father was a police officer for many years, and he had a right and a reason to carry a gun to a store. You don't have any reason to carry a gun into a store." And I looked at her and I said, "Do you know who I am? Do you know what I'm about, what my job is? Do you know anything about me?" And she goes, "No." I said, "So what makes me any different from your dad at that point? Because if you don't know who I am, and if I'm going to carry a gun, maybe there's a reason why I carry my gun. And when I do carry my gun, it's to pray that I never need to use it." And I said, "Now, I applaud your father for being in the public service for so long. Thank him for that. But maybe you need to learn to shut your mouth." And I was done. And she got offended, face got red. She kind of huffed and turned away. Now, the funnier part is I didn't even have a gun on at that time. Now, if I do, it's going to be concealed and you're not going to even see it. But I didn't even have my gun on me. So I thought that was interesting. But, I let her know it's not best to judge somebody just because of a shirt. But at the same time, I enjoyed that. I really do. I know it's kind of condescending on that, but I'm not going to say, "Hey, you're a gangster just because you got a baggy shirt and baggy shorts on." I'm not like that. People this day and age seem to want to judge before they know anything about anybody. And that's just absolutely freaking ridiculous in my point of view. All right. So my story of the week. Okay. I went to my first Gem and Mineral show in years. It's been years and years. I can't remember when my last one was. In Arizona, annually, we have thousands of dealers from all over Arizona, the world, bringing gems and minerals to sell, barter, trade. Okay, and then we have, this is down in Tucson. So there's about 48 shows overall, and then there's one big grand show at the end at the convention center, which we call the Super Bowl of gems and mineral shows. Over 60,000 people come down to these shows and spend almost a month, because these shows last for about a month. Some last almost 2 months. And the big one that's considered the Super Bowl, as you would say, of the gem shows is from February 14th to 17th. And as a kid, I can remember, since Pappy was in nappies, I've always been fascinated with rocks and minerals and, old mines, history, ghost towns, all that stuff. Because my dad used to take me out and we hike forever and find all kinds of interesting rocks. And there were rocks I would pick it up, and he would call them leave it right, which is leave it right where you found it, because it's not anything important. But for me, I thought it was a cool rock. But so it was a lot of fun. I actually walked around and brought my girlfriend with me and my kids and her family. And she has a brother-in-law named John from Utah. Hey, John. And, he's my rockhound buddy now. I mean, this guy and I got along so well. We were talking gems, minerals, and, he facets them and cuts gems into really, really cool shapes. And, he's really good at that. He's got a really good eye for minerals, which is really cool. I bought some new ones for my display. Unfortunately, it's time to get a new display cabinet so that I could start a newer display. But I think I'm going to personally for myself, because it's something I enjoy, is start to visit these shows again every year. So that's been a lot of fun. And I'm actually a member of the Gold Prospectors Association of America because I love gold panning. I love that show, Gold Rush. As a matter of fact, Todd Hoffman, he was in that show for the longest time. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. And, he is the guy that kept me interested in the gold panning stuff. And Tom Massey from Gold Prospectors Association, love watching his shows and learning about gold panning and all that stuff. So I've actually kind of got myself back into that and got myself some supplies so that I can get out and have some fun and do my panning and all that. So I will keep you guys updated when I go out on an adventure about where I went and if I was lucky enough to find anything worth of value. So that'll be cool. Some of my random thought, this was actually shared to me by my girlfriend. She found a meme that she shared for me, and it's called the 9 important facts of your life. Okay. So, and this is kind of interesting. I if you think about it, it's kind of true. So, number 9, death is the number 1 killer in the world. Right? Yeah, exactly. I know, mind blown. Number 8, did you know that life is sexually transmitted? Think about it. It's got to be passed on from one person to another. Just, unless you're Jesus and it's immaculate conception. Sexually transmitted, right? I know. All right, how about good health is merely the slowest possible rate in what let's do that again. Good health is merely the slowest possible rate in which one can die. So yeah, you might be in good health. It's just going to take you longer to die, but that's not saying you should be in bad health. But YOLO, right? YOLO. I'm down with it. I'm jiggy. I know. Number 6, men have 2 emotions, hungry and horny. And we can't tell them apart. So if you see a glimmer in his eye, make him a sandwich. He won't know the difference. Just saying. Just saying. I know I'm going to get crap for that one. Number 5. Give the person a fish and you feed them for a day. Teach a person to use the internet and they won't bother you for weeks, months, maybe years. Number 4. Health nuts are going to feel stupid someday, lying in the hospital, dying of nothing. At least you want to die of something. Just kidding. Number 3. All of us could take a lesson from the weather. It pays no attention to criticism. It just keeps going. I know, right? Mind blown. All right. Number 2. In the 60s. If you're from the 60s, don't bash on me because this is, you're part of this group. I mean, you might not necessarily done this, okay? But I'm not saying you did it, but you know what I'm talking about. In the 60s, people took acid to make the world weird. Now the world is weird, and people take Prozac to make it normal. And you're talking about a guy with anxiety and medicated, so Pappy's there, but no acid. Nope. Number 1, life is like a jar of jalapeno peppers. What you do today might just burn your ass tomorrow. And the kicker for this, don't worry about old age. it doesn't last long. I know, right? It's serious thoughts. I mean, you guys are probably sitting there right now pondering life, going, damn, Pappy knows what he's talking about. Man, I got to listen to Pappy more often. I need to make sure I subscribe and download every one of his episodes so I know what to do with my life. I know how you feel. I get it, and I'm there for you. My security thought of the week. Now, I have 2 small children, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I've always big on child safety. And one of the things that I do with my company from time to time is what I call child ID kits. And they're really easy to do, and you can actually order them for free online. But basically, yearly, thousands of kids go missing. Okay. You get a child ID kit together so that if, God forbid, your child ever goes missing, you've got information that the police department can use that is going to be helpful, because at the same time, if my child went missing, I'd be freaking out. I don't even know if I could talk straight. But if I got this kit together, it's going to give them the answers they need. For instance, inside the kit, you're going to have the child's fingerprints. Personal info like their name, date of birth, hair color, eye color, distinguishing marks on their body, like maybe a scar or blemishes, pimples, a sample of DNA, maybe a pool of the hair with the root in it, taped on there. There's actually a website called McGruff Safe Kit, McGruffSafeKit.com. And you can order yourself these free child ID kits. And also in that child ID kit earlier, you also include a current picture of the child. But this free ID kit you get has all the instructions, and it actually comes with that little packet of everything you need to put in there. And it even comes with the little fingerprinting ink so that you can print your children's fingerprints real quick and put them in that kit. So if you have littles, even if you have teenagers, it doesn't hurt to have these. That way, if, God forbid, knock on wood, anything were to happen, you've got something that you can use. So check that out, McGruffSafeKit.com. Okay. Now, last week we introduced Ask Pappy. And I actually got my first response, and this is coming from Robert in Tucson. And he asked me how I felt about the I-11, the Interstate 11, that is being proposed right now, that's going to go from the Mexican border up to Las Vegas. Now, Robert, thank you for sending in your Ask Pappy question. This is my theory. Now, I did a little research on it, so it's going to be a 4-lane divided highway that's supposed to run from along the western side of the United States. It's going to go through Tucson, around the west side of Phoenix, and up north to Vegas. I think it's a great idea that we can get a highway that's going to make it a little easier and reduce a lot of our stress and our traffic. But what I don't like about it is it's going to be running through where people currently live now. And I believe it or not, I actually have an employee that lives in this proposed route, and they're going to, if they do go through with it, they're going to eminent domain her home, which really sucks, because the way that works is the government comes up to you and says, here's a check. This is what we say your house is worth. Get out. Now, you can fight it. Sure, you can fight it all you want, but at the end of the day, it's actually a government right to eminent domain based on the fact that it's going to be for the greater good of a city, town, municipality, the way it works. So it really sucks, but I do know that, we need better highways out here because it's so congested. And we need to work on that. I do know that they are actually working on one around the Phoenix metropolitan area that's supposed to go west of South Mountain, part of the Route 202. And they've had to eminent domain a lot of people's houses. And that was sad to see. I don't know what could have been done differently, but so Robert, my theory is, or my thought is, the highway is going to be a good thing, but I think they could have looked at better alternative routes as to where this could go so that they could do the least minimal damage to people's lives and homes. Some of these homes these people have probably lived in for 100 years or so. I do know that when Chase Field was built here, it was called Bank One Ballpark, where the Arizona Diamondbacks play, and they eminent domained houses there too. And apparently there was an older lady, and that was the house she grew up in since she was a kid. And, she fought it. She ended up losing regardless, which was really sad. But, it was technically for the greater good of the state. I mean, it did bring in a lot of tax money. It really sucks. I would hate to be in that situation. I don't know what I would do myself if I was in that situation, but that's my thought. Hopefully I answered your question for you. If you have something you want me to touch on and give you my opinion on, you can either go to It's Pappy Hour. It's Pappy Hour on Facebook, or you can email me, ryanispappy00@gmail.com, and I will try to answer your question on the next episode, unless I've got to do a little bit more research as to finding out a really good explanation on my point. So we do have that. Next week, I'm thinking, because when I was researching these idiot laws, I actually came up on a thing called idiot warning labels. So idiot warning labels. So I'm going to leave it at that for the moment, but that's going to be on my next episode. And I did start touching base on prepping for disasters. Last episode, I'm going to be bringing in part 2 on this next episode as well. So don't forget, check out the YouTube, Ryan is Pappy. Facebook, it's Pappy Hour. We have a hot sauce challenge coming up that we're going to be posting the video of me and It's Bustin' Jeeber. We went through 10 levels of pain, stupidity, hot sauce, plus this really cool, painfully both in and out pepper flakes of some of the hottest peppers in the world, thanks to one of my listeners, Robert, from Tucson. And it was pretty crazy. So we're going to have that hot sauce challenge coming up soon on my YouTube. So on the YouTube, it is Ryan is Pappy. Subscribe so that you don't miss it, because it'll automatically let you know when I've got another video coming up, and especially once we start doing our videos where we're actually having videos playing in there and commentating on those. And then also you can listen to the show on YouTube now. So I want to thank everybody again for listening to me one more time. This is great. I hope that you could keep doing that. If you have any questions, send me the notes, and take care of each other and have a great week.
Don't like our traditions. You say we've done you wrong. Why don't you pack up your bags and take your ass back home? This is my home, and son, I'm mad as hell. I think whooping your ass is worth a couple nights in jail. There's a million pissed off rednecks just like me, and we're all sick and tired of this bullshit called PC. I guess you didn't know, but you don't mess with generally. If you have a right to burn my flag, then I have a right to kick your ass.